Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about angles and we're going to be talking about radians. So let's just get right into it. So for the first type of problem that's going to be on your homework, they're going to ask you to sketch a graph that shows these degrees. So I'm going to show you how to do that. The first one is 240. Notice how it goes from 0 to 90 to 180 to 270 to 360. 240 is going to be falling into this quadrant right over here, which is going to be quadrant 3. 240 is a little bit closer to 270. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an arrow going down, and then my angle is going to be this. Starting at 0, it goes up, goes around. This right here is 240 degrees. So notice how I'm going counterclockwise when it is a positive degree. Moving on to the next one, this is 500 degrees. However, I don't see 500 degrees on my graph. In order to graph it, what you need to do is that you just need to subtract 360 from 500, because that's pretty much like when we do like the identity, when we multiply by 1 or something like that. This is pretty much the same exact thing, because you're just going backwards in a circle 360 degrees, which means you're going to be back in the original spot. So if I do this, if I subtract 360 from 500, you're going to end up getting 140 degrees. This we can now graph. 140 degrees is going to be in the second quadrant between 90 and 80. So all you're going to do is that you're going to make a line going up here. And then you're going to go like this. So this is going to be equal to 140 degrees, which is also equal to 500 degrees. And now for the very last one, there's two different ways that you can do this. You can think about it just going negative. So negative 50, instead of going this way, you just have to go the opposite direction. So if I go negative 50, it's going to be something that looks like this. And it's going to include the angle going all the way around. The second way that you could think about it is just by adding 360 to it to make it positive. So if I add 360, you're going to get 310. As you can see, 310 is going to be in this quadrant, which we have the arrow. This angle right here is going to be 310 degrees. So either way is perfectly fine. You just need to draw it just like I did in this problem. For the second type of problem you're going to have on your homework, let me just erase this, is that they're going to ask you to find a positive and negative coterminal angle. So on your homework, I did explain to you what a coterminal angle is, and I pretty much just did it before. Coterminal just means that you're adding 360 or subtracting 360, because when you do a full circle, you're going to be back in the same exact spot. So I'm going to go over two problems. So let's say we start with negative 45. It's asking us to find a positive coterminal and a negative coterminal. This one's pretty easy, because to find my positive one, all I need to do is add 360. Once I add 360, I'm going to get 315. And this is going to be my positive coterminal. And then if I want my negative coterminal, all I need to do is just subtract 360. So once I subtract those two, I'm going to get negative 405, which is my negative coterminal. So like I said, this one's pretty easy. I'm also going to show you another one that's a little bit tougher. So if I get rid of this, and let's say I use 395. So a positive one, I could just add 360. That is one possibility. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to subtract 360, because I'm still going to get a positive coterminal. So subtract 360, I end up getting 35 degrees. So this is my positive coterminal. However, if I want to get my negative coterminal, I can still use this, because 35 degrees is equivalent to 395 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 35 degrees, and I'm going to subtract 360 from it. That's going to give us negative 325. And then this is going to be my negative coterminal. So that's going to be the second type of problem that you guys can have. And your last type of problem is going to be converting from degrees to radians. So this is not that bad. The only thing that you need to remember with this, if you have a degree, so for example, in this problem, the way that you convert it into a radian form is that you need to multiply it by pi over 180. The reason why you want to do this is because your numbers will cancel out with each other. You want to keep the pi in the problem. So if I multiply this, you could technically just put this over 1 and just multiply across. You're going to get 120 pi over 180. And if you simplify this, you're going to end up getting 2 pi over 3. So this is in radian form. But let's say I have something in radians already. So I have negative pi over 12. In order to take it out of radian form and put it into degree form, instead of doing pi over 180, you are now going to do 180 over pi. The reason for this is because you want the pi's to cancel out. When you have degrees, there should be no pi's. So now if I multiply across, I'm going to get negative 180 pi over 12 pi. Pi's are going to cancel out. So now I do negative 180 divided by 12. You're going to end up getting negative 15 degrees. And that is it. If you have any questions, please just comment on our Google Classroom.